Cyclone MMA. UFC 276 was fucking mid. Okay, no it wasn't. But the way I can describe UFC 276, it's like going to McDonald's and then getting a salad. You're all hyped up. You're like, I'm going to get a Big Mac. I'm going to get a large fry. My fat ass is going to get a chocolate shake. And then you end up ordering a salad. And it's not like it's bad. You can't like ruin a salad. It's like kind of okay. But you have these high expectations for some good, mouth. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, UFC 276. It was okay, but it was really disappointing. This was like the card of the year. It was stacked. It was supposed to be amazing. It was pretty good. It was okay, but there were some disappointments in here, especially if you're a Max Holloway fan. We're going to start at the bottom of the main card, and then we're going to go to the top. And then after that, we're going to talk about the prelims, because some of you don't care about the prelims. But this main card, we're going to start off with the first fight, bantamweight. Pedro Munoz versus Sean O'Malley. We go around, we go to the second round, and then there's no contest. Sean O'Malley pokes Pedro Munoz in the eye. I look on social media and Twitter, everyone's losing their goddamn mind. They say that Pedro Munoz is a faker. I don't think he is. Apparently he got his cornea scratched and he couldn't open his eye. I understand it kind of looks like that because he's like, I can't see anything. And they're like, your eye is not open there, bud. But that was suck. That was suck indeed. Kind of a lame first round too. Like, I don't know how I would score that. I don't really remember. It's Tuesday and the fights were Saturday. Late again. But 26 strikes landed by Pedro. 25 strikes landed by Sean. Pedro was going for the leg kicks as I thought he would. But they weren't seeming to do a ton of damage on Sean. I'm sure they'll add up eventually. But I kind of hope they rebook this. It sucks that anytime Sean O'Malley's in a top 15 fight, it ends in a weird way. Like, the leg injury was weird when he fought Cheeto. Not taking anything away from Cheeto. But this fight ended in a weird way because, like, Pedro got poked in the eye and couldn't fight. And that was the ball game. That was it. Sucks. It sucks for the fighters, too. They train all this time for it. And then that's what happens. Whatever. Moving on to the welterweight division. Bryan Barberena versus Robbie Lawler. I always say this. Whenever Bryan Barberena is in a fight, it's going to be fight of the night. He's entertaining. He comes to bang. He might not always win, but he puts on a goddamn show. And Robbie Lawler looked really, really good in this fight up until the stoppage. He was rolling with the punches and firing like I've never seen him do before, which is weird. Like, we all know Robbie's a brawler, but the way he looked in this fight was just different. It seems like my friend James said it correctly. He said he was seeing the numbers. He was just able to slip out of just everything. And even if he was getting caught, he wasn't getting caught with anything super big. That is until he did get caught with something big and lost the fight in the second round. So that sucked. But it was cool seeing Robbie Lawler fight an entertaining, close fight up until the finish. But congrats to Bryan Barberena. He brought it. He got the finish. He stuck with it and was able to finish the crafty veteran. Sucks for Robbie, though. He's on a skid now. I know he has that Nick Diaz win, but that version of Nick Diaz, I don't know if anyone should be proud of beating that person. But moving on to the middleweight division, Sean Strickland fought Alex Pereira like a freaking idiot. That fight pissed me off. I put money on that fight too. I placed 2 bets with a buddy. We did a handshake. I said Sean O'Malley. Said Sean Strickland's going to go for a takedown in the first round. And I also bet on Sean Strickland to win the fight. I lost 2 bets that day. Sean Strickland tried striking with the Glory kickboxing champion, the dude who knocked out Israel Adesanya, the dude who beat Israel Adesanya twice. He's like, you know what? I'm going to try to strike with this guy. That seems like the good decision. And he got caught with the left hand. That was just like perfect. Something, I keep seeing clips of Alex Pereira landing that left hand, and it's freaky, it's weird. Like my hair right now, what's going on here? I can't even have cool hair when I'm wearing a hat. Alex Pereira's legit, dude. And the thing that bothers me about him, and it's not his fault, it's the UFC's fault. He hasn't faced a wrestler yet, and I thought, okay, he's fighting Sean Strickland. The UFC expects Sean Strickland to stand with him, but like Strickland's not that dumb. He understands he needs to wrestle. And even leading up to the fight, he talked about wrestling. He goes, I might just take him down and choke him out. He didn't do that. Instead, he went to sleep. And it pisses me off so much. He just took all of Sean Strickland's hype, which Sean Strickland was at like his peak in terms of value. You know, he's coming off of the Uriah Hall win, coming off the Jack Hermanson win. He's ranked number 4, looking at one more win and then a title shot. And Alex Pereira comes in there, lands to the left. He's going to fight for a title next. He's going to fight Izzy. And, you know, anything can happen because, like, Izzy's not a wrestler. But it'd be so wise of Izzy to just go for a takedown and try to grapple this dude because he's so new in the sport. He's 6-1 right now. He's so new. He's only got 3 UFC fights. Man. All right. Moving on to the featherweight title match. This one stings. This one sucks. I love Max Holloway. He's my favorite UFC fighter. And watching this was just dagger after dagger after dagger. Alexander Volkanovski outclassed him. He won every single round. He opened up Max Holloway's eye, or not his eye, but his eyebrow. There was a huge split. In terms of significant strikes landed, Alexander Volkanovski landed 199, so we'll call it 200. Max Holloway landed 127, and in this fight, Max Holloway was the one going for takedowns out of desperation. I'm glad that we got to see him try to mix it up, try to do different things to win this fight. He was 0 for 3 on takedowns, but at least he was like in it trying to win, trying to do something to change the tides, not just doing the same thing over and over and over again. Alexander Volkanovski has officially leveled up, and we all know this. We've seen him get better and better in each and every one of his fights, and this just shows this is the little cherry on top of the trilogy. Like, he won the first fight. I will say that. I think he won the first fight. Most of you should think that he won the first fight because he did. Holloway doesn't. Whatever. Second fight, I do think personally that Holloway won. I don't call it a robbery because it was a damn close fight. The third one, he sealed the deal. Alexander Volkanovski put a shellacking on Max Holloway, and I didn't like it very much. I didn't like it. If you're an Australian, you love it. And I don't hate Alexander Volkanovski. Any other fight he's in, other than one against Max Holloway, I'll root for the dude. I feel bad that he keeps getting booed. But this dude's next level. He's so good. He's a pound-for-pound great right now. And he's looking at being the featherweight GOAT. I hate to say it, but it's true. The dude's good. The dude is really, really good, and he knows how to win an MMA fight. And he is so well-rounded. It's crazy. It blows my mind. And then there was that conversation about the ESPYs. I made a video about it a couple days ago. I now think Alexander Volkanovski should win. After all that, yeah, he's just looking really, really good. Excited to see what happens with the future of Alexander Volkanovski. Moving on, we have Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier, a fight that's not the most entertaining, but it was very clear who the better fighter was, and his name rhymes with Jizzy. Sorry, that was kind of gross. But anyways, Izzy. Not an entertaining fight, but I saw a tweet. I forget who it was. It might have been MacLeod. I forget. But the person said, like, the hardest thing to do is to fight when you know everyone's game planning for you. So basically, being a champion and getting finishes is hard to do because everyone is studying you and watching you and game planning for you, and they know how to beat you. And Izzy's been just stopping the contenders. He goes, no, you're not going to beat me. And they're not always entertaining. They sometimes are super entertaining. This one wasn't crazy fun, but he won 5 rounds. At worst, he won 4 rounds. And Jared Cannonier, the power puncher, just had nothing for him. I put a poll out on this YouTube channel and asked who's going to win this fight. Y'all said Cannonier. It was like 57% Cannonier or something like that, which I looked at and I was like, why are you guys picking Cannonier to win this fight? I know he's got the puncher's chance, but Izzy just proved to be one of the greatest fighters. He's a generational talent, and you can't even boo him when he has these performances that are boring because his goal is to be great. His goal is to be a fighter who wins fights, and he is really good at winning fights, guys. He's really good. Appreciate Israel Adesanya while we have him because we're not going to have him forever. How old is the dude? let's see here. Izzy is 32 years old. So he's still got some time in this game. But think 10 years from now when he's retired, which I hope he's retired because 40-year-olds should not be fighting in MMA. Think about the run he's had to get to the title in these fights he's had. He's had some really, really good fights, and he's had some really good opponents, and he's just cleared the path and just dominated everyone. He's so good. He's so good. And his walkout was hilarious. Listen, I don't watch WWE, but I understand that was The Undertaker. I had a dude here who was like, yo, that's The Undertaker. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And I thought it was like really funny. He had the urn of ashes, and I couldn't really tell at first, but then my buddy goes, it says Jared on it. And we just all started laughing. Hilarious. Really funny. The entertainment value this guy brings to the UFC is crazy. He should be a bigger star than he is, but I know if he just keeps racking up these wins, he's going to be one of those names. He's going to be the Conor McGregor type a couple years from now. The dude is really good. He's racking up the wins. He's clearing the division. He is the best fighter in the UFC today. It's either him or Usman. I can't choose. It might be Usman. This dude's good, though. UFC 276. Yes, it was a little mid, but there's some historic events here, you know. Izzy defending his title, Alexander defending his title. We're going to move on now to the prelims because I almost forgot about that. The prelims were pretty solid. Brad Tavares versus Dricus Duplessis. Jeez, that was a terrible pronunciation. That was a fun fight. Duplessis comes out with this fire, this piss and vinegar energy, which I really like. He was going for takedowns, which surprised me. I thought Tavares was going to be doing that. I feel like he didn't understand. He didn't understand he had more of the firepower. The power dynamic was prevalent there, and Duplessis definitely had the power advantage. Now, moving on. So he won that fight. Tavares lost. It was a decision. It was an interesting one. Tavares had bleached white hair at the beginning of that fight. At the end of it, completely red. It was pretty nuts, actually. Ian Gary versus Gabe Green. Ian Gary just outclassed this dude. I thought he was going to get a knockout in this fight because Gabe Green brought it, dude. He had this pace and he had this relentless pressure. He was just always in Ian Gary's face, and Ian Gary was just slipping and ripping, and it was something beautiful. He looks like he's leveled up since his last fight because he looked really, really good in this one. Moving on, we have a welterweight fight between Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller. Both of them were tied with the most wins in UFC history, and with Jim Miller getting a submission in the second round, he now leads the UFC with the most wins. Sad for Cowboy. Really wanted him to go out on top and get a victory, but I had a bad feeling about this fight. I should probably make a video on him next because the dude's a legend and he deserves, all the respect. It sucks that the end of his career looks the way it does with a lot of red on the SureDog page. But the dude's a legend. I think all the OGs know how good Donald Cerrone was at one point and how much of a legend he was and how he just was such a company man. He would not stray away from any opponent. He'd take any fight. Dude fought like Jorge Masvidal and Darren Till and Leon Edwards and all these beasts at welterweight that he really was just completely outsized. Congrats to Donald Cerrone. Good luck being a movie star, and I wish you the best of luck with all of your future endeavors because I know you never got the belt, but you are a champ, and you're a future Hall of Famer. So, yeah, Donald Cerrone, my dad's favorite fighter. You're the man. Then we have Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner. I feel so freaking bad for Brad Riddell. He's in that gym full of beasts from the Oceanic region, and he didn't even really get to fight in this. He landed 2 strikes. He threw 3. Jalen Turner, 45 seconds into this fight, gets the submission. He rocked Riddell and just went right to that guillotine, got the W, and this is a couple losses in a row now for Riddell. He lost to Fiziev before this, got knocked out in the 3rd round. Before that, he did have a good win over Drew Dober, but he's one of those guys. He's in a division of just such good fighters. The lightweight division is crazy stacked, and there's a lot of guys where if they were different sizes in different divisions, they could be champions. I'm not saying Riddell's one of those guys, but he would be at least a top 10 guy in another division. It just sucks that there's so many good guys in this division, but Jalen Turner looking really, really good. I'm curious how much in a row is this for him now. He beat Jamie Malarkey before this. That was a knockout. He beat Euros Medic before this with a submission in the first round. And then he beat Brock Weaver. So he's on a streak here. He hasn't lost since 2019, and that was against Matt Frivola. He's on a bit of a heater. I'm excited to see what happens with him next. I haven't looked at the rankings yet, but that sounds like a top 15 opponent for him next. But yeah, UFC 276, good stuff, mid. I keep saying it was good. The thing is, it's one of those where I had such high expectations for it that when it was just kind of okay, it makes me sad. And also Max Holloway lost, so like tears. Just go ahead and make fun of me in the comment section. I feel like people think I hate Volkanovski. I promise you I don't. I promise you Volkanovski is a cool guy. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm running out of shit to say, so I'm going to stop this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe. I talk about MMA on this channel, if you couldn't tell from the name of this channel or what I've been talking about for the last 10 minutes. How long is this video? I don't know. Bye. Bye, merch. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson.
Amanda. Duh.
Next, we got Artem Lobov. We're going to stick him right up at S tier. Just kidding.